A very good morning, children. Well, in today's class of economic application, we're going to take up a new lesson, that is chapter 5 of your text. Okay. Well, the name of the lesson is characteristics of Indian economy. So we're going to talk about characteristics of Indian economy today. But before that, a bit of recap on what we did in the last class. Well, in the last class, we were talking about developed economy and underdeveloped economy, which is also known as developing economy. And we also made a distinction between developed economy and underdeveloped economy or developing economy. Okay. Well, as I said, we're going to take up a new lesson today, and the name of the lesson is characteristics of Indian economy. All right. Before I go on talking about the characteristic of Indian economy, I would like to give you a brief introduction to Indian economy. Okay, like what is an Indian economy? Like that, I'm going to tell that briefly. Okay. Okay, as all of you know that an Indian economy is a developing economy. Okay, like every economy, in the world, Indian economy also, consists of all, production units and institutions such as farms, factories, workshops, mines, shops, railways, hospitals, schools, colleges, offices, banks, insurance companies, etc. Okay, which provides people with what? Goods and services in one hand and employment in the other. Okay, so like as I said, like any other economy, Indian economy is also classified into three sectors, that is primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. Okay, what is the primary sector then, in brief? Well, a primary sector consists of agriculture and its added activities like, say, poultry farming, animal husbandry, fishery, etc. Okay, then what is secondary sector then? Well, a secondary sector is also known as manufacturing sector, which includes all the manufacturing and construction activities. Okay, then what is tertiary sector? Well, a tertiary sector provides services like say transportation, banking, insurance, communication, etc. to primary sector and to secondary sector. Okay, so so this is a brief introduction to an Indian economy that I said. Like once again, an Indian economy is a developing economy. Okay, just like in any other economy, you find all this activities. Okay, which provides what activities, in the sense you find all those production. Production units and institutions, like I said, like factories, industries, mines, workshops, etc., which provides people with goods and services in one hand and employment in the other. Okay. Now the topic of the day is characteristics of Indian economy. We're going to focus on that. Okay. Well, see. First of all, the first characteristics we're going to take today is Indian economy as an underdeveloped economy or a developing economy. Okay, so the first characteristics of Indian economy is that Indian economy is a underdeveloped economy. Now, when you say underdeveloped economy, okay, just previously, I mean, previous to this video lesson, we did a topic where we discussed about what is developed economy and underdeveloped economy, where I told you in detail the meaning of this economy. But still, what is underdeveloped economy? As I said just now, that Indian economy is a developing economy or an underdeveloped economy. So what is what do we mean by underdeveloped economy then? Well, let me give you a brief definition of what an underdeveloped economy is. Okay, well, an underdeveloped economy is an economy in which there is a low standard of living or low level of living, you can say, where per capita income is also very low, and you see there's an absolute absolute poverty in the country, and the low consumption level, poor health and services, so high birth rate and death rate, so and dependence on foreign economy, etc. These are some of the things that you get to see in underdeveloped economy. So when you look at this definition, when you focus at this definition, as I said just now, in underdeveloped economy, you see all these characteristics: low per capita income, low level of living, high birth rate and death rate, low consumption level, etc. So when you look at an Indian economy, what you see is that you see all these characteristics in Indian economy. That means India is considered as underdeveloped economy. Why? Because we get to see many of these characteristics in Indian economy. Okay, what are those characteristics then? As I said just now, low level of income, low standard of living, etc. Now, we'll go little detail on this. Okay, these, as I said just now, these characteristics, the characteristics of all this, the characteristics which we see in underdeveloped economy. All these characteristics, most of these characteristics we find in what? In Indian economy. Okay, like what are those then? First is we find what? Low level of per capita income. Okay, there are about, we are going to see about 9 to 10 points which proves that India is an underdeveloped economy or developing economy. Okay, the first point is low level of per capita income. Okay, see, low level of per capita income is considered as one of the main features of underdevelopment. Okay, so the per capita income of India, if you see the per capita income of India, you see that the per capita income is so low that the large proportion of Indian population, they're almost say 22%, almost 22% of Indian population, they live below poverty line. So this is one point which shows that India is an underdeveloped economy. Okay, all right. Now let us say some other point. The point number 2 is predominance of agriculture. Okay, see, predominance of agriculture. This is also one of the main features of underdeveloped economy. So what we see is that India is predominant. Predominantly dominated by agricultural sector. Okay, where you see that agriculture plays a very important role in Indian economy. Okay, if you observe closely, what you get to see is that in India about 49%. 49% of the people, they are engaged in agriculture and allied activities for their livelihood, which means that agriculture provides agriculture provides employment to around 49% of the workforce in India. Okay, so this is also one of the reason why we term or consider India as a underdeveloped nation or an underdeveloped economy. Okay, now let's see the next point. The next point is inequality of income and wealth. Okay, see, another important features of underdeveloped economy is that there is a wide gap between rich and poor. Rich and the poor in the country. So what you see in Indian economy, when you see you see that in India the gap between the rich and the poor is very wide. Understood? It's very wide. So there is a high degree of concentration of wealth in the hands of the rich people, whether it is in urban area or in the rural area. Okay, whether you get whether you live in the rural area or in the urban area, what you get to see is that the concentration of wealth is in the hands of the rich people. Understood? The gap between the rich and the poor in India is very wide, and this is one of the main feature of underdeveloped economy, which you get to see in India, which supports the fact that India is a underdeveloped economy. Okay, Right. Next point is rapid population growth. Now you know that India stands almost second in terms of population growth. So in India, population growth is quite high. Okay, see, if you look at the census of 2011 census, you will see that the population of India was 121 crores. I'm talking about 2011 census. Okay, I'm talking about 2011 census. If you, according to that, India's population was around 121 crores compared to 43.9 crores in 1951. I'm just comparing the population growth from 1951 to 2011. It has grown like tremendously. Understood. And in addition to that, maybe because of a good medical facilities that we are having in the country, or compared to the earlier times, what we see is that the death rate in India is falling down, and on the other hand, the birth rate is increasing. You understood? So what happens is that when this both combined together, the birth rate is rising like anything, okay, and on the other hand, the death rate is falling down. So this too is ultimately what leading to what? Population explosion. Understood? Okay, so therefore, the rising population in India is imposing a great burden in the economic development of the country. So this rapid population growth is also one of the features of underdeveloped economy, which you see in India. Okay, we suppose India to consider India as what? Underdeveloped economy. Okay, well, the next point is low level of living. Okay, so as I mentioned in the earlier point also, that around 22% of the Indian population, they live below poverty line. Okay, and on top of that, if you see the average calories intake means the food that you eat. If you see in India that if you compare to other developed nations, okay, compared to other developed nation, in other developed nation, if you can see that the calorie intake, the per day, the amount that the food that they eat, the calorie that they intake is 3,400 calories per day, each person they take, okay, in developed nation. But if you compare to that in India, what you see only the calorie intake is 2,496, which is quite low compared to the developed nation. Okay, so the level of living is very poor in India, and to on top of that, what you see is that nearly 40% of the children and 60% of the mothers, they are malnourished in India. So these are the major problems that you see. Or say this is one of the important feature, that is a low level of living is one of the important features of developed economy, which you see widely in our country. Okay, well, next the next point is existence of chronic unemployment and underemployment. Okay, see, if you see Indian economy really suffers from chronic, unemployment and unemployment problem. Okay, see, the rapid growth, the rapid growth of population and inadequate growth of this so-called secondary and tertiary sector are responsible for this. You understood? See, we have, what I mean to say in a very simple language is that, in India, we have a chronic problem of unemployment and underemployment. We have a lot of unemployment problem. Okay. And who's responsible for this? The main, culprit is who? The rising population, which we saw in the previous point. The rising population is one point, and the other point is very poor and inadequate growth of the secondary and the tertiary sector. You understood? The growth of secondary and tertiary sector is so poor that people, it can hardly absorb people in its sector, hardly give employment. In a very simple language, they can hardly give employment to the people. So what happens? Maximum people, they have to adopt agriculture as their livelihood. But in agriculture also, how much they can observe. You understood? So, these are some of the factors like population, inadequate, development of the secondary and tertiary sector, which has created what? Unemployment and underemployment problem, okay, in India. So, okay, now let's switch on to next point. Next point is a lack of entrepreneurs. Okay, you know who are entrepreneurs, right? So in India, what we see is that the role of private enterprise or private entrepreneur in the development of country's economy is very, very disappointing and dissatisfying. Why? Because these entrepreneurs or private enterprises, what they do is they just focus on profit making. They just they just concentrate on quick profit rather than what? Rather than long-term industrial development of the country. Okay, so the lack of say good entrepreneurs, or a lack of good private enterprises, and one of the problem developing or underdeveloped economy. Okay, because their performance is not that satisfying. It's very disappointing. Okay, they just concentrate on income generation rather than employment generation. Understood? Okay, so their main motive is to earn more and more profit rather than to contribute in the country's economic development. Understood? So this is also one of the main characteristics of underdeveloped economy, which you can see in our country, India. All right. Okay. Next point is a low level of technology. Okay, now what does this mean then? Well, in India, the technique of production that is used is, very old, obsolete and outdated. Not just in agricultural field, also in what? Also in industrial sector. So what happens is that we're going to see making use of modern technology and so-called advanced technology, but they use, but in a very, very they're adopted, but in a very limited scale. You understood? Okay, so in India, the technique of production is uses very obsolete, outdated, not only just in agricultural sector but also in industrial sector. They do use of modern techniques or say advanced technique, but in a very, very limited scale. Okay. So due to this, what happens? The productivity in both in agricultural sector as well as in industrial sector is suffers due to what? Technological backwardness. Okay, so this is it. Now next point is underutilization of natural resources. Okay, see, when you see this point, this is also one of the important feature of underdeveloped economy, which you widely see in our country, India. Okay, see, India, they say that India is a rich country as far as natural resources are concerned. Okay, but due to various problems, like say due to various infrastructural, lack of infrastructure rather, due to various say lack of transportation facilities, or use of old and outdated technology, or shortage of capital, or say small extent of market, due to all this, what happens? The resources, the natural resources remains what? Unutilized. Okay, simply amassing a huge natural resources is not enough. You'll have to explore it. You have to utilize it. You have to exploit this, this natural resources. If the natural resources are not used, then it just goes wasted. So it's of no use. Okay, India may have India not may, in fact India, she is quite rich as far as natural resources is concerned, but these natural resources are not utilized properly due to various reasons which I mentioned just now. That is due to lack of say transport and communication facilities, or roadways, or and due to lack of modern techniques, etc. Okay, well, the next point is weak infrastructure. Okay, this point is very much related to what I said just now. See, weak infrastructure, the infrastructural facilities, like as I said just now, road and transport, or say communication, electricity, banking, and insurance companies, education, etc. These are far from satisfactory. You understand? These are far from satisfactory. So due to lack of all this infrastructural facilities, the infrastructural, all this infrastructure which I am talking just now, the good roadways or railways or electricity facilities or say health or education facility, due to lack of this, the agriculture and industry could not make much progress. Okay, agriculture and industrial sector, agricultural sector as well as industrial sector would have made a better progress if this infrastructure would have been good. But if you focus on the Indian economy, you see that all these infrastructural facilities are what? Lagging behind. They are very poor. Therefore, what happens? It has an adverse effect on the progress of agricultural and industrial sector. Okay, so these are some of the points which I discussed right now. These are the these are the main features of underdeveloped economy. So what we see is that you see all these features that I right now I explained you about 10 features of underdeveloped economy, and in fact we find all these features in our Indian economy. In fact, this is the features, the 10 features which I explained you just now are the features of underdeveloped economy, and we find all these features in, or rather all these characteristics in Indian economy. So this shows that, or this proves that India is an underdeveloped economy. Okay, so that's the first characteristics of Indian economy, is that Indian economy is an underdeveloped economy. So that's what we studied today. First point, or the first characteristics, that is India is an underdeveloped economy. Okay, so I think we'll stop here. Okay, we'll stop here where a bit of quick recap on what we studied today. Well, today we just made an introduction to an Indian economy, all right, and we also we also discussed about the various features of underdeveloped economy, and we saw that all these features are present in Indian economy, proving straight away, saying that India is an underdeveloped economy. And the first characteristics that we discussed today is India is an underdeveloped economy. So in the coming up class, we will study some other characteristics. There are many characteristics of Indian economy. We just discussed one point, remember, that is India is an underdeveloped economy. Just one point. And now in coming up classes, we'll discuss some other characteristics of Indian economy. Okay, till then, stay connected, stay tuned, and stay safe. We shall meet in the next class, and if you have any problem, as I always say, catch me up in WhatsApp for all the queries and doubts.